My dudes, what's up? Supermoto on MX versus ATV Untamed. So I think I actually covered this a little bit in one of my live streams last year, but I wanted to go in here and actually dedicate a full video to this because this is just insane, man. I mean, when you really think about the content that you had in these older motocross games, it don't even make sense, dude. Like, it really doesn't compared to the modern day motocross games content that they have in them. This was certainly back in a golden age of content for every kind of game out there. It seemed like the Call of Duties had more content, the racing games had more content. I mean, it seemed like everything had more content. The fighting games had more content, right? And then for whatever reason, like, you know, I would say the super amount of content in games would have been anywhere between somewhere between 2005 to 2010, something like that. That's about where I would say like you had like the most amount of content in these different kind of games, right? But so we're going to go in here and check out a little bit of Supermoto. This is kind of a little more back when Supermoto was popping off in real life too, right? That seems to have kind of died down a little bit nowadays. It's not quite as crazy as when you had like literally all the professional motocross dudes going in there and, you know, trying to race Supermoto and stuff like that. It's a little bit different of a thing now, but either way, this is a really cool. This is the first Supermoto track in this game right here. Oh my God, I got to be careful. It has literally probably been like, I don't know, since this game came out, since I rode on this track right here. So, yeah, this was like the very first track I ever rode on. I remember seeing those dinosaurs and shit on the track, right? And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. It's like a little mini theme park type vibe going on. Oh my God, bro. We out here in practice, taking them out. It's just a cool idea, though, you know? That's like just having that extra kind of content. I think that's what a lot of these motocross games need to move themselves into, where it's kind of like how MX Simulator is in the sense of, even though it's a motocross game, when you have enough like custom track editor, you know, content and that sort of thing, it basically makes it to where it's like, it's not just motocross, but it's supercross, it's hybrid riding tracks, it's trail tracks, it's enduro tracks, it's supermoto tracks, it's, you know, freestyle tracks, it's all these other things. You know, I feel like that needs to be like the new wave of motocross games, where you can pretty much ride the dirt bike on any kind of racing track, any kind of scenario, any kind of, you know, enduro cross, you know, anything, right? Like, I think that would just be a very, very cool hill climb, you know, it just goes on and on and on. I think that's what these games need to work themselves into, to the point kind of like how MX Simulator is, where they have, you know, MX Simulator is not meant to be a supermoto game at all. There's no sort of special supermoto tires in the game or like anything like that, you know, no supermoto bikes. I think there actually is somewhat of a supermoto tire change type thing on MX bikes, if I'm not mistaken. But with MX Simulator, like, you can put different tires on the game. You know, people's made like custom Supermoto tires for MX Simulator just for the shits and giggles, but that's just a visual thing, you know. It's not actually like having street tires on MX Simulator, right? But people have went in there and made literal Supermoto tracks on MX Simulator because of the fact of you being able to have such freedom in the track editor to where you can make super high traction on like a road looking decal, right? So you can kind of create that super grippy going from dirt to concrete and really have like a differing feeling between the two. And there's enough different kind of decals and stuff in the game to give it the look as well. So it's kind of crazy how you can literally create, you know, supermoto tracks on MX Simulator. You make enduro cross tracks, trail tracks, freestyle courses. You can do all that shit, even though the game was never really intended for it, right? So it's kind of an interesting thing about MX Sim, and I hope that's how a lot of these games sort of develop over the years. But But yeah, Supermoto, man, pretty interesting. So it's like this, and I think there's like so much more room for creativity with it all at the same time. This track right here is kind of sick though. Got that sunset vibe on it as well. Definitely cool. A lot of times they don't have very complicated jumps or anything like that. The actual dirt sections of these Supermoto tracks are normally pretty simplistic. That's kind of the nature of it, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, I think it'd be cool to the point where you could have like a Supercross Supermoto hybrid or like a concrete Supercross track, you know? So like it's just endless, dude. I mean, when you really get into what kind of track or racing experience you can have on a dirt bike, it's literally endless. I mean, I made an entire motocross track made out of concrete on MX Simulator with my future MX track, right? And you guys know Josh Hill, been riding in theme parks, going down water slides. You know, I made my custom track on MX Sim with the water slides. Fun Island, right, with the water slide coming down, all that. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do. There's so much basically untapped potential, I feel like, of these different racing experiences in these games and different kind of tracks and stuff that you can actually make. So let's check out this one right here. I don't know if I've ever rode on this one before. Well, let's take a little look-ski. But, yeah, it's just crazy, man. And that's on top of all the other content that was in Untamed, right? It's not like this, that's the only other little content in the game. It's like this game had a full MX and SX series, right? It had a ton of free ride tracks. It had, all the other kind of vehicles, Omnicross. It had a full freestyle series in here, 50cc bikes. I mean, good Lord. You know, when you add all that together, they just don't make them like this anymore, man. They just don't. Okay, this track's got a little bit more kind of motocrossy, jumpy style. It's kind of cool how they had the dust effect all the way back in these days. That was definitely high tech for back in this era, for sure. And to have it only on the, dry desert style track in the game, that's interesting, man. That's definitely sick. I like how with these Supermoto tracks, they've definitely tried to integrate it and make it to a legit Supermoto track, with all of the billboards and, tents and stuff like that in the certain areas. And I do think you can ride on these in free ride, when you go on these individual tracks in free ride. I think if you come to these different areas, you can actually go to this track. Did you see the bike just spark right there on the ground? That's a cool little touch. So they actually have a bit of a road jump on this one right here. That's cool. I mean, yeah. Oh, shit. Spency boy. And then, you got the circle tracks. You've got it's just, it really is endless, man. That's one thing I just love about dirt bikes in general. They're just so endless on what you can do with them. Oh my God. We smashed the trash cans there, boys. They're just so endless on the amount of different kind of, track content, because not only are you on the ground, but you're also in the air too. You could say a dirt bike is just as capable in the air as it is on the ground. And it's just so much fun, all the different stuff you can do on a dirt bike, and I think that's a really cool thing about it. With a car, it's kind of limited in how much you can jump a car, so it kind of limits you a little on that. And even a car is somewhat limited to off-road. I mean, it's definitely capable off-road with, Baja buggies and all that type of shit, but, a dirt bike seems like it's just made for everything, man. It is made for everything. Even an ATV, all-terrain vehicle, you're not going to jump a four-wheeler like you're going to jump a dirt bike. You're just not, But, you can still pretty much go just about everywhere other than, a super mud hole. That's about the only place I can think of you're not really going to be able to go as good on a dirt bike as you would be able to, a super, mudded out four-wheeler, right? But there's just so much you can do, which is really cool with motocross. So interesting. They definitely do have a higher traction and it kind of makes it really feel like you're on a road in these different areas here. But yeah, it can kind of feel like you're just on the gas wide open, but I think I could adjust my gearing a little bit here to give me a little more top speed, and it wouldn't feel so much like that. You could definitely, get into it a little more hardcore than I am right here. I just kept all my same setup stuff on this bike that I had for motocross and supercross in the game. So you could definitely, get into it a little more and try to get the bike a little more tuned in for Supermoto in the game. But even though the game here automatically changes your tires to Supermoto, which is an interesting touch, I don't know how much that really changes the bike. Like, I don't know if it like makes it more grippy with the Supermoto. Like if you went in here on free ride, like I was saying, and you had the normal dirt tires on the bike, but you went over here to the road, like would it feel all that much different? I don't really know. I don't really know about that. It might actually be making somewhat of a difference. I'm not really sure, but I just know you don't really have the option to change between, Supermoto tires and not. It just does it automatically when you're in here racing on, on a Supermoto track, right? So that is the old desert track. Let's go to the next one here. But it was just such a cool thing to me, man, back in these days that, it's just like, good Lord, Endurocross, Waypoint, Minimoto, and then had all your typical stuff on top of that, right? Just insane. So I do think, is there not like a NASCAR, literally a NASCAR Talladega oval track? I'm pretty sure that's what this shit is right here. Let me look here real quick. That was a really cool addition. I think that was a really memorable thing to Untamed for sure. Literally having a NASCAR track inside of one of the freestyle or free ride tracks, I meant, right? That's something you don't see every day. That's what I would like to see in some of these newer MX versus ATV games. Just starting to see them get a little more back to that super unique, there's part of it right there. I know when you go on this on free ride, I think the way this works is you can ride on like a portion of it with the Supermoto track. It's like halfway part of the Supermoto track. Yeah, if you go in there on free ride, you can just sit there and go around the circle of the track just like you're racing NASCAR, right? Which is kind of cool to be able to do that because this game has not only dirt bikes, ATVs, also UTVs, all that type of shit. Pretty sure this game has monster trucks as well, right? So I don't know. It was certainly interesting back in the days when it was like they just had so many different things in one game. It was just endless. I mean, you could just play this game still to this day. You can go back and play this game and it's still fun. Still just play it for hours on end. The second you start getting bored of one thing, there's always something else to do. If you start getting bored at Supercross, you can go to ride motocross. You get bored of that, go to Endurocross. You get bored of that, go to, UTVs. If you get bored of that, go to free ride. If you get bored of that, go to ATVs. If you get bored of that, go to the 50cc bikes. If you get bored of that, go to Supermoto. I mean, it's just like it is literally endless. Look at that moon over there. I be that man on the moon, and I'm gonna do what I do. So do you, hey. There we go. There we are on the Talladega. We're on the home stretch, boys. Okay, I think we turn here. Yep. So you just on it for a split second there, and then you kind of go into a whoop section. Cool. I love and that was another cool thing back in these days was there was a full nighttime track that had a motocross track on it, a freestyle course on it, free ride, Supermoto. I think all these different motocross games really do need one dedicated like nighttime free ride track that's got a motocross track on it and shit, right? Because it's just a whole different vibe when you can capture that nighttime racing experience in these games. Kind of a cool little jump there over the whoops. Whoops. Did like a 7 out right there. That was kind of sick. Okay. Do have to be careful on these walls, though, because they will cream your ass in a heartbeat. You have to be careful on that. But, yeah, it's all in kind of how you stretch corners or tighten. Man, you cannot run into those trash cans, dog. You cannot even think about it, bro. They will take you down. But just wanted to come in here and kind of show this off a little bit. I thought this was a really cool feature to Untamed right here. Definitely something I'd love to see them test out in the future. You know, hill climb, 50cc, enduro cross. I'm really shocked that they don't at least have enduro cross in the Supercross games. I really thought they would have had that as like a fun little side series type thing to do in their games, and like a trail series in their MXGP games. I'm still pretty shocked that they don't have that. Because enduro cross would just fit so perfect in their Supercross games. Like, you just can't deny that, man. But either way, came in here and did a little look-see at Supermoto and Untamed. This game's definitely worth picking up still to this day if you can get it. I'm actually playing it on an Xbox 360 right now, right? I don't think this game ever came out for PC like Unleashed did, so it's kind of your only option, I think, at the current point, is to play it on the 360. But I still got my old school 360 rocking and rolling, dog. I still love to go back and play some of these games. I think it's a lot of fun to come in here and cover this old school content on YouTube as well. If you guys enjoy me, playing some of these older games, definitely let me know. I want to turn that into not just older motocross games, but all kinds of older games. Midnight Club Dub Edition remix. Like, I want to go in there and, play some old school shit that I used to play back in the day. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see some more of this action, and we'll get on to it. But either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.